5 ways to get your first pull-up. Now when it comes to pull-ups, I've been doing pull-ups now over 20 years. I would say if I had to give myself a compliment physically, my best physical feature is my back. And I'm going to show you that. And it's not just down to pull-ups, but pull-ups is one of the things I've been doing for so long and got so good at that I would say I'm probably world class at them. And there's not many people, I think, definitely locally, but in the country, that could match me for strictness of pull-ups, unless they're on steroids for a natural person. And I'm quite proud of that fact. But the fact is, actually, I've been training relentlessly for the last 20 odd years. So I know a thing or two when it comes about results. And the pull-up is one of those things that a lot of people would love to do, but they don't quite have the strength to do it. Now, strength is something that I've been working on again since I was 16 years old. In my first gym session, I started messing around for many years, experimenting with loads of different things, getting good advice, bad advice, getting hurt, doing wrong things, doing right things. But then I became a trainer and a coach in the fitness industry around 13 years ago now, and been learning a lot along the way. And pull-ups is one of the things that I've been doing probably every week, more or less, or every other week for the last 20 years. So there's different variations of pull-ups you can do, and I want to teach you how to go from not being able to do one pull-up to being able to do a pull-up. Now, what a lot of people make the mistake of thinking is, I'd love to do 10 pull-ups. Well, you have to do one before you can do 10. And people find the pull-up difficult for a lot of different reasons. And one of the main reasons, which is number one, and it's the first tip I'm going to give you, is you're too heavy. And that's, you don't see many fat people doing pull-ups, do you? The simple reason is because you have to pull that weight up. And even if you're a strong, bigger, larger person, you still have to pull the whole weight up via your arms and your back. And that takes quite a lot of effort. So the first tip is lose some weight. What weight that is, I don't know. But the heavier you are, every pound that you lose is a pound less you have to pull up. So if you want to get good at pull-ups, you need to start losing the pounds, losing the kilos, and losing the actual body weight. There are some athletes, NFL players, rugby players, who are strong enough to pull their body weight up, but they are athletes in few and far between. For the average person, a pull-up needs to be done on somebody that is not obese or massively heavy. So losing weight is the first thing that's going to help you toward getting a full pull-up. Now, when I say pull-up, there is different ways to do it, and people call it different things, but a pull-up is basically pulling your body weight up. Now, you can do different grips, and I'm going to demonstrate them. I'm going to show you which one's harder, which one's easier, which one I believe you should start with, and what to do to progress and advance them along the way. So if we want to go an average pull-up that you see most people doing, I would call this a chin-up. It's where your hands are what we call supinated, which is inside, an inside grip, and it's usually the one that everyone starts with because it's where you're usually strongest. Your body's more tucked in, you're able to activate more muscles, and it's a lot easier than doing an overhand grip where there's a lot more strength required in that stance. So underhand grip, where you can get tighter, usually is the one where people start. So that's where both hands come in. Distance-wise, 4 to 6 inches usually. You ideally start at the bottom, pull over the top, and that is your initial first pull-up that most people start with. Now, you are usually the weakest at the bottom, so this is where people suffer. They can't get up past here. They can't get up, right? So what they tend to do is jump into it, and then up here they can get this, and then as soon as they get here, it stops. So the number 2 bit of advice that I can give you is this: hang for at least 60 to 90 seconds. So, a couple of different grips, and I would recommend alternating them. Let yourself stretch and hang. At the end of the day, if your grip strength sucks, you're not going to be able to do a pull-up because you're not going to be able to keep a hold of the bar long enough to pull yourself up. So hanging like this for 60 to 90 seconds at the end of your workouts is not only a great stretch, but a great grip test as well. You could also hang this way, although it's a little bit more uncomfortable for the wrists and stuff, but if you're wanting to get better, hang a variety of ways for 60 to 90 seconds. Once you can get a good hang on you, you've obviously improved your grips. If you can hold your body weight for 60 seconds, you've got a decent level of grip strength. Now, along the way, there's different variations of pull-ups. Like we said, we could do the initial one, which I recommend everybody starts with, because to do something like a parallel grip, like this, is again harder, because it's not as easy done. And as well, an overhand grip like this is a lot harder as well, and requires quite a bit building up to get a pull-up like that. Now, so we've covered grip, losing weight, hang for at least 60 to 90 seconds before you even, you could try a pull-up, but before you manage to do that, those would be my 2 first bits if you want to take this seriously. The third bit is this: use a band. So we have a very strong green thick band here. And some of my clients use this. So basically, it's an aid that obviously is going to pull you up and give you that leverage on the way up. Now, you are always at least 30% stronger on the way down on an eccentric movement. It's why you can squat. Some people can squat low, but they can't get it up because they're strong on the way down. It's a bench press. They come down, you can bring it down, but you can't push it back up. Why? Because they're always stronger on the way down. So you want to utilize that strength and control what we call the eccentric. Control the tempo. When I say tempo, I mean the time under tension, like 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever it may be. Because you're stronger, you want to use that to your advantage. So I'm going to couple these next 2 tips in one. Use a band and train your negatives. So here's what you do. Pull the band down on your knee. Or some gyms have the platform. I think a band's better than the platform. I think the platform gives too much. Then keep with your knee pushed down. Get in your grip. Even if you have to jump yourself up a little bit, the band, as you can see, is giving me an aid. It's pushing me up or pulling me up, yeah? So I can then do the pull-up close and that's slow, 1, 2, at least 3 seconds on the way down. Then if I need to, I can jump up, chin to the bar at least. I think what classes as a pull-up is chin touches the bar as a minimum. Yeah, now a lot of people arch their neck, it's kind of cheating, I would say. A full pull-up would be chest to bar, which is where I do them. But if your chin touches the bar, you've technically done a full pull-up. Now again, what a lot of people do as well is that they do pull-ups like this. It's just the top half pull-up, it's not a full pull-up. A pull-up is from the bottom to the top, yeah? Chin to the bar or chin over. Using a band as an aid to pull yourself up and slowly lower yourself down. As many reps as you can at the start. You might be able to get 3, 4, maybe something like that. Work up to couple of sets, 2, 3 sets of 10 reps. That's a great starting point if you can do that. Actually, I'm going to couple 2 with this. One of the ones that you can do is what we call a bottom activation of the scapula. So as you are pulling up like this, most people struggle with the first bit. So if I was to ask, and I see this all the time, is people will jump into that pull-up and then they'll start, like I said, and try and rep them out like this. Rather than start, which is going to be the hardest bit you can do, from the bottom to the top and fully down and to the top, yeah? So that first activation is one of the hardest. Little extra tip here at the top. Watch my shoulders. Pull them down, even if you just get to there, hold and release. Pull to the top, you can't get past there, hold and release. Pull, hold and release. You could work that 5, 8, 10 reps into sets. You could work that at the end of your sessions. You're still testing your grip and you're activating the shoulders at the start of the movement. Last one, last tip. Hold at the top. Now this is very challenging. And again, the heavier you are, the harder this will be. The lighter you are, the easier it will be. So if you're holding at the top, you could put a band on for aid, or if you've got a box to jump in to the pull-up position, you can do that. I'll just jump in from the bottom. So all I mean is you could get work 3 to 4 sets of this in at the end of your training. So literally up to the top and you hold as long as you can, chin over the bar, chin over the bar, chin over the bar. So you start shaking, turn, and then slowly down and then hang at the bottom and hold as long as you can till you feel like your arms are going to rip out the sockets. Put your foot down and you're done. Time yourself, get somebody else to time you, your training partner or your coach or whatever, and improve on the time. Time under tension will matter. Those are 5 or 6 tips to get your first pull-up. Now, I believe that people think that they can do it in a few weeks. Listen, I've been training 20 years and I'm still finding it hard. But what you got to bear in mind is, I would say if you are training for pull-ups and strengthening your grip and your overall body, at least 2 to 4 times a week, every week, at least 12 to 16 weeks before you could probably do your first pull-up as a minimum. I mean, some people will take longer depending on how consistent they are with driving in the basics. Now, it depends on how bad you want to get a pull-up. If you want to get, at the end of the day, if you want to squat 100 kilos, for example, if you've got a goal of that, you need to start squatting heavy more regularly. Just like if you want to do the Great North Run, you have to start running long distance more regularly. If you want to do pull-ups, you have to do pull-ups and pull-up exercises more regularly. Like, people forget about the regularity of getting better at something. Obviously, you're going to be shit at it at the start. You're not going to be very good. It's like anything, you're not going to be very good at it at the start, but you have to keep doing it. Do you think I came into the gym and just started repping out 10, 20 pull-ups when I was 16, 18? Of course I fucking didn't. My first thing were like this. That was me. That was me, just like it will be for you. It will fucking suck. You'll feel stupid. You'll think everybody's watching you. But you got to go through the shitty parts to get better, because that's life. Repetition, repetition, repetition is the mother of all skill. To get better, do fucking more. How do I get better at push-ups? Do more. How do I get better at burpees? Do more. But these tips will massively help when it comes to a pull-up. Now, I'm going to show you and demonstrate the other types of pull-ups that are available to you, but I've just demonstrated the easiest one that most beginners start with, which is what I recommend everybody start with. Starting with an overhand pull-up requires more strength and is a little bit more advanced, because to do this move here is a lot more difficult than doing a close grip. Because I've practiced pull-ups for 20 years, I do a lot of different variations depending on my trainer. I'd add some weight to a belt and do that for extra weight. Now I weigh currently about 83 kilos at the minute. So obviously, if I was to weigh 93 kilos, it'd be a lot fucking harder. If I was to weigh 100 kilos, 120, it'd be a lot harder. Pull-ups for heavier people is a lot harder, right? But you can do an overhand, what we call pronated grip pull-up, which is a lot harder, which is, that is what I would class as called a pull-up. I would class that as a chin-up, but they're basically the same thing. They're just called different things. So chin over the bar. But there's also the diagonal grip. Every grip just challenges a different part of your body. Some of it activates more bicep, more lat, etc. So every bit is challenging. I find that one quite comfortable actually, on the middle. But there's also the parallel grip, which again you can play around with the distance, going like 4 to 6 inches apart, or of course going a wider grip as well and doing a wider grip like so. These are challenging. The wider you go, usually, the harder it is. So for example, this is one of the hardest pull-ups you can do with the wide grip, pulling up to the top. That's pretty challenging, that. Again, you're utilizing different muscles that might not get worked if you're not used to training your body as a whole. I tend to train like an athlete would train. Like, it's not chest day and arm day for me in the gym, never. It's a push-pull day, it's a squat day, it's a carry day, it's a functional day, it's a movement day, it's a day that gets me feeling good with my physical and mental health. Pull-ups are a thing that you have to bear in mind, it's going to take some graft. And if you are 120 kilos, if you are 18 stone, doing a pull-up right now might not be the best thing for you to focus on. If you're a heavier person, it might be losing the weight, getting fit, getting healthy. That's just the truth. It's not to say you can't work up to it, but you've got to look at your body and think, right, what's realistic for me now? And again, I'm not putting anybody off here. I think sometimes we get our goals in the wrong area. It's like the obese person that wants to run a marathon. Well, that's great, but do you not want to lose the weight first and focus on getting fit and healthy and in a good routine, then run the marathon? Have the marathon as a further goal. See, we all think we need this one goal to get progress, when in reality, what we need to do, and what I feel is the most useful for us to do, is to develop a lifestyle of fitness, a lifestyle of movement that we enjoy, a lifestyle of eating well that works for us, a lifestyle that we can continue long term. Like fitness, doing a pull-up is something that, for example, I would like to do when I'm still 80 years old, to be able to do one of these. Like, I train my body for longevity. I still want to be able to run around the block at 75 years old if I need to. I still want to be able to do 50 push-ups when I'm in my 90s. Why not? People just stop moving. And I want to be able to have that progression throughout life and instill it into other people, that it's not just about getting a pull-up so you can put it on Instagram. It's not about that. Years ago it was for me, when we've all got fragile egos when we're a bit younger. But as we age a little bit and we're coming into our 40s and 50s and beyond and stuff, we need to start thinking about how we feel up here and how we are actually operating down here. We need to be useful. We need to be functional. A pull-up is a very functional movement. You never know when you might have to pull your body weight up. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is very useful for you guys looking to just be stronger and more active, and it's give you some insight and inspiration. If this has been useful, I'd love to know in the comments if you've tried your first pull-up and which tip was the most useful for you. I'll see you on the next video. If you'd like to learn how to create outstanding levels of energy, motivation, and self-control, my second book, Supercharged, the modern day guide to doing exactly that, is out now.